Hi, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Spain on a Small Plate series. Patatas Bravas is a classic Spanish tapas made with fried or roasted potatoes and a sauce that can be spicy or not spicy. Potato tots are an American classic comfort food. In this lesson, I combine the concept of Patatas Bravas and potato tots to make what I call Tatas Bravas. In this lesson, I deep fry the tots. If you have leftover tots, you can crisp them up in the oven at 350 degrees. My tots recipe was inspired by a Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives episode at the Highland Tavern in Denver. Serve these tots with my Patatas Bravas sauce to make Tatas Bravas. So let's start cooking. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do to make our Tatas Bravas or potato tots is to cook the potatoes al dente. Now, they've already been peeled and the larger eyes have been removed. I put them immediately into a bowl of water so they wouldn't turn color. And now I'm putting them into a pot of water. I usually start with cold water. It's believed that the potatoes absorb less water if you do it that way. And we're going to let these come to a boil and cook until they are a slightly less than al dente, meaning that when we try to push a toothpick through them, it still has some resistance, okay? We do not want them to be too soft because we're going to be shredding them next, and we don't want them to turn to paste or to disintegrate. All right, so we're going to let those cook a little less than al dente. Okay, our potatoes are just a little less than al dente. When you try to push the toothpick through them, there's still some resistance, okay? They're still a little bit less cooked than you'd want to eat them, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to put these into the fridge and let them chill for about 20 minutes or so, just to firm them up before we shred them. All right, now we're going to shred these potatoes using this box grater with the, I guess it's the biggest holes. And we're just going to shred each one of the potatoes. Okay, there we go. I spared you all of the shredding, but we got a nice, kind of shreddy pieces of potato here, as you can see, okay? All right, now we're gonna mix in the garlic powder, and the amounts that I've given you on the description are really just kind of approximations. If you like a lot of garlic, use more garlic. That's the onion powder. If you like a lot of onion, use more onion powder. This is paprika. That's going to give us mostly color and a little taste. And then the cayenne, I don't use a lot of spiciness, right? So I'm not using a lot of cayenne here. But if you want more spiciness, use more. And then we're going to have a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to add 1 to 2 lightly beaten eggs. Why do we say 1 to 2? Because we want to get a nice consistency to this, and it really kind of depends on how big your potatoes are and how dry they are versus kind of wet they are, okay? So we're going to add probably about half of the egg to begin with, and then we're going to start to mix this up and see how we're getting in consistency, and then we're going to decide whether to use more egg, okay? Now I think we're getting pretty good mix here. I'm just going to add a little bit more egg. So we'll probably have used about 1.5 eggs, okay? We're going to mix that up really well, but tossing it, not so much kneading it, okay? If you knead it, you'll make the potatoes more pasty, or you want to try to keep some of that shreddiness to the potatoes, all right? So don't squeeze them, just kind of toss them to mix. All right, now we want to form the potatoes into balls. And how big should the balls be? About the size that you're used to seeing in tater tots. And then we're going to put them down on a piece of parchment. We're going to do all of the potatoes this way. Now I'm not packing them into a ball, right? I'm making kind of a loosely formed ball, and And I've decided that I'm making them a little bit too big. I'm going to go back and reduce the size of that first one just a little bit. Okay, and we're going to form each one of these into a ball and place it on the parchment. Okay, there we go. We have that amount of potatoes, which was 4 medium-sized russets, made 24 tots. And that's based on how big I made them, right? If you want them to be smaller, you can make more tots out of that same amount of potatoes. If you want them to be larger, you'll get fewer. Okay, now we're going to put these in the fridge and let these chill for at least 20 minutes just to firm them up. All right, now while your tots are chilling and firming up, now's the time to heat your oil. Now, I'm using a deep fry pan here, but you could use any heavy-bottomed pot. I'm using about a little less than a gallon of oil. The more oil you use, the easier it's going to be able to easier it will be to maintain your temperature. The less the temperature will drop when you start to put the tots in. It's also good to don't have the oil right up to the rim of your pot. Have it down in there a couple of inches, okay? Because you don't want it to slosh around. It's very hot. It's very dangerous. You want to heat it to about 350 degrees, between 350 and 370, and try to keep it there. Now, once you start to approach that temperature, you want to turn down your heat a little bit so the heat of the oil doesn't shoot past your goal, okay? So turn down your heat as you're starting to approach the temperature and try to regulate it so you can hold it somewhere between 350 and 370. So also be ready to receive the tots after they've been deep fried. I use some crumpled brown paper. This is just a paper lunch bag, brown paper lunch bag. It's been torn open and crumpled. I have it on top of a sizzle plate. That's where we're going to put the tots after we take them out of the oil. Okay, we're going to start by cooking 4 of the tots. Now, the more you put in there at one time, the more it is going to drop the temperature of the oil, okay? And they'll come out soggier rather than crispy, all right? We're going to let them cook in the oil until they are golden. Okay, let's check them. Oh, they're looking nice and golden. Let's take them out, put them on our brown paper. Okay, now I've plated up 4 of the Tatas Bravas, or the tots, onto a small plate to make this a tapas-sized dish. And I'm serving it with a little bit of my Patatas Bravas sauce on the side. If you pick one of these tots up and squeeze it, it should feel crispy and firm on the outside and kind of softer on the inside. Now we're going to just sprinkle these with some salt. I use either kosher salt or sea salt, and served with some Patatas Bravas sauce on the side. So that is the conclusion of Tatas Bravas. You can see photos of the final dish at my Instagram, which is @ChefsApprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.